when he so he would always be 15 minutes early for every appointment, and that worked very well for him. I tried that for a long time, and it did not work well for me because I knew I had set my clocks back to 15 minutes, and so I took advantage of that. And I wanted to hand around these. They are collated. So if you take the first two. Oh, actually, remember, they're front and black. You only got to take one. Sorry. Please. I know. You know what? Thank you. It is. It is. Okay. The printer gave me a little pastel, and I had it all. Well, it is what it is, and I guess I could let y'all pass it down the road. Just take one and pass it down. And I'm Lisa Valero. My mother is Liz Lodhole. She and my father founded A&O. She's here by chance, so come up and introduce yourself right here. Get on camera for a second. There she is. Okay.
What camera?
You're good. It's got you. Okay, now, just tell them what I do.
Oh my gosh. She put me on the spot, huh? Yeah, what does Lisa do? She does a little bit of everything, actually. Her title is Director of Business Development. She does an awful lot.
I'm Vice President.
Vice President.
I made myself Vice President.
Good. She's Vice President of Business
So,
Development.
great raise now.
But Lisa works a lot with the internet site, and she's really responsible for getting the leads that we're getting, which are really great leads. I don't know if y'all had, I don't know if anybody in this room has had success with any of them, but I can tell you agents that have had success. As a matter of fact, Susan Day was writing a contract yesterday on a lead, internet lead. She wrote it, unfortunately the people rejected it. But she's got the people in there working, and so.
I hear it so much that people are working with or closing from the leads. I'm always thrilled, and it's wonderful, but it's not surprising. I mean, it's just like...
Well, I'm saying that to this
It works, yeah.
Because a lot of you, have any of y'all had success with leads? Okay, good, 2 of you have.
Yeah.
I've gotten one run.
I've gotten a rental.
And you actually rented it?
Yeah.
And you rented it,
And you got
okay.
time receipts from them.
All right, and some are just starting. Rebecca can tell me.
Do we turn that through?
Yeah, just turn the iPod so it is looking at me as best you can. Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, we've got a couple new people here, so I also want you to sign the book here.
Lisa, let me just
You're
say before
attending?
we talk about this, because Rex and, what's your name?
Oh, Dawn.
I know who you are. Rex and Don were talking about rentals, and renters turn into buyers. And they're turning into buyers now. And I know you did a rental recently too. Carolyn is a good example of turning renters into buyers. She's converted several. And the one that Donna Andriano is under contract with was not an internet lead, but it was a renter that walked in the door. And he bought. She turned him into a buyer. So if you've got renters that are paying $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 a month, that kind of stuff, you can $2,400, $3,000, they can buy it for less than that.
I've got a website link on agent.com that can take you to this, where you plug in a house, say $250,000. It would say how much its rate would be at the current, whatever rate you put in, and it was like, well, I'll show you. For those that are watching now or later, I just kind of go with whatever comes up, and okay, who was yelling at me yesterday that I already had it up there? I know. I just want the front end, actually. Okay, that's the front end of ageon.com. Since some of you are brand new, or brand new to me, where did you come from? And, let's do it. Everybody say the office and wherever you come from. Go.
Okay.
Fast, though.
Rachel Tisdale, this office, nowhere.
No, okay.
Came from somewhere.
You just say here.
Where we're originally from?
Yeah. Or where you moved from most recently. Like if you moved from Jersey here, we've got a lady that usually is in these meetings that's from Jersey. She has her Jersey talk and she has her non-Jersey talk.
Stephanie Beaton, I'm in the West Ashford office, and I've been in Charleston 18 years from Alabama.
Oh, so you're Charleston.
I'm Lisa Dunhood, Mount Pleasant office. I've been here for the last 6 years, but I left. Before that, I was gone for 23 years. Before that, I grew up on Manor Farms.
You're an islander.
Yes.
I mean, you count. In my book.
Yeah.
Rebecca Dawn Tags, West Ashley. I've been in Charleston for 20 years.
Wow, that's good.
Carolyn Lieber, Mount Pleasant office. I've been here now 8 years back, but my kids grew up in Sullivan Don too.
Okay, that's great.
Rex Brown, Isle of Palms. I came here from Okinawa, Japan.
Wow.
Yes, that is very different. But
Unless you speak Japanese, it's kind of hard to sell houses.
do you speak Japanese?
Yep.
That's a
It's
shame.
a very difficult.
You know what? Actually, on that thing that's being passed around, if by chance you speak a foreign language and you really, really do speak it, I mean, I'm not saying you know some words. You're fluent. Write that down. Also, you see at the top, habla español. And I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. We have 2 agents that do speak Spanish fluently. We have a mortgage loan officer that speaks Spanish fluently, as well as an insurance person.
Who is German?
Ute, yes, it's German. Yes, I'm going to have to do that. I'm sorry. Okay. So, where do we put? Okinawa, threw me off. Go.
Angie Foster from Mount Pleasant office.
Mhm.
I've been here for about 5 years from North Carolina.
Oh, see, I thought you had just moved to the area.
No, I've been here for 5 years.
Okay.
Carolyn Southwell, Mount Pleasant office. We've been in Charleston almost 20 years. Been with Agent 10.
Okay.
Randy Walls, Mount Pleasant office. I'm originally from West Virginia, lived in Virginia. I went to school down here at Citadel. My parents lived down here. My daughter went to Citadel. I've been here for the last 3 years. I have 16 years real estate experience in Virginia.
Don Patrick, Trolley Road. Not the only person here who's a lifer.
I'm a lifer.
She's
too,
a lifer.
But limited from where I'm in real estate. So
She's a lifer. I'm a lifer. You're a lifer.
Born and raised in Somerville.
You had to go away for a little. Somebody? I know you're a lifer, but you had to travel because your father was in the military.
My husband.
Or your husband.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I really kind of take that aside. I count you as a lifer, and we don't mean to be discriminatory. It is just unusual in Charleston how few people are actually from Charleston anymore, and how Mount Pleasant has grown, and as it's growing, it is still the wildest thing. If I walk in Walmart, I always see somebody I know. If I'm anywhere, even though there's so many people here, it has a very small town feel to it. At least I think so. What do y'all think?
I think that too.
Okay.
People who come in from out of town say that too.
Great.
They'll run into other people that they have known, so it does have a small town feel.
It does. It's weird. Why? I don't know.
It's just not that big.
You know what?
Compared to DC,
Hold-
compared to
Mount Pleasant is the #1 fastest growing suburb in the country.
I believe it.
But I guess in terms of where they started, you know, it still is maintaining its field. That's from Forbes magazine, if anybody wants to use it, blog and tweet, post, whatever. Are you new to real estate? No, you are. I know you are sort of, and that's feeling okay. I know what everybody else got it. Okay. So the lead list class, for those that are brand new, I'm not going to go through today how to get on the lead list or how to what you need to do once you're on it. If you want to stay past the video, I will show you, and then you will know. But I don't want all these guys to have to do it. The link I wanted to show you that's on the website has to do with buying versus renting. Now this is still the home page of Agent Owned. It's very long, okay? So you scroll down and you will see, where is it? Lisa, you know where it is. You told me last time. Oh, here it is. I'm cracking myself up. Okay. All right, so you got the big search bar. You got businesses for sale. And this is a big blue box when you're hovering over it. I might need to make it even orange. But that's where it's going to stay. So you click that. And you're going to see the same sidebar. But you got text there saying why it's better to rent than buy, yada, blah, 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 blah. Where I'm trying to go is, I click this right here, and that brings you to this, which is incredible. Okay, so they have their graph set at a $250,000 home would be $961 a month. You can change the length of the mortgage, you can change the interest rate, you can change the down payment and get that number. And so these people that are out there renting $1,200, $1,500 homes, they can see in the calculations the numbers that it just doesn't make sense. Now, what it does not add in are taxes and insurance. So that number would be on top, and you would need to tell them. But I still love this. I love it. Okay. You want to see 350? Okay. The interest rate. Oh, the interest rate is. Isn't it 4 or 4 1/4? What is it right now? I'm gonna say. It's a little hard. I would say it's 4. Okay.
It says it takes into consideration the tax deduction. What does that mean? Because when you own a home, you can write off some of your mortgage payments, but mortgage payments and your taxes. Well, the interest is the mortgage payment.
Right.
What I'm saying is, so the number showing up there, is that factoring in the fact that, well, okay, you should have $5,000 a year in mortgage? Well, actually, it's more than that. Is it automatically subtracting out what you have to file for and get credit for, which you never really get in your hand? Because that might be a little bit misleading.
Okay.
See what I'm saying?
You may have to explain that if somebody reads it that closely. They are referring to, at that point, the interest that is on the mortgage that you can use to write off any of your taxes. But it is not referring to the taxes and insurance that you must pay on top of your mortgage payment that goes to the bank. Do you understand? I mean, I know you don't understand?
I don't understand if that's
okay.
reflecting a benefit that's really a paper benefit after you file.
In addition to the interest rate and down payment, the calculator takes into account the mortgage interest tax deduction. It's taking into account the mortgage interest, how much interest you are earning per mortgage payment, because it gets larger every month, or smaller every month, because you're going higher in paying off the house, correct?
Well, a 30-year mortgage, it's gonna be a long time before you see a significant amount paid off.
That's true, that's true.
So,
But they're trying to be thorough.
well, now I'm
But
trying to
what-
make sure it's not misrepresenting a number that shows a lower monthly whatever.
Yeah, that really is, this has so many charts in it, that if I were y'all, I would just tell them that the rest is set right, and we don't even scroll down. If they want to scroll down, they can scroll down later, because there are so many factors. All right, I got the mortgage rate. I'm going to make it 0 down, okay? No down payment, and for 30 years, okay?
Can you get that?
Well,
No down payment?
okay, for $250,000, no down payment with all the criteria we just put. Mine this would be longer. Oh, sorry. I need to move this back to about 7. That does make a change. Okay, that's a $250,000 house, and what that change was is how long the people are expecting to own that home. If they expect to buy it and live in it forever.
Well, actually, on the front of it had that when I actually went in there. It just says, gives you 3 options before you get that, and it says 100, 250, and 400, and what the rent will be, without actually having to do that inside there, so, sorry.
Yes, actually, that may be better. I might use that link and add it. So this is confusing to some people. I like to be able to manipulate the rate, because a lot of people I work with, the first thing they're going to say is, well, what mortgage rate is that? You know, is that 0 down? You know, it can't be right. Well, you can't buy a $250,000 house with 0 down, or it's very, very difficult. So I'm going to make it
3.5.
No, down payment. I'm going to make the down payment 20%. Come on.
But you get FHA, 3.5, right?
Yes, I don't know if it goes up to 250. Does it?
Oh, yeah.
But typically, that is what you typically get. Okay, so with 20% down, it's $995. Now, you wanted to see $350, and that is interesting, because it's hard to get it exactly right. Come back. Oh, let's see if I can do that. No. Okay. Sorry, guys. Well, it's $343, okay? At $343, with all those factors, 20% down, 4% interest rate, staying in the house 7 years, and a 30-year mortgage. And all that, it's $1,300.28 a month. So somebody that's buying at a $3,500 house, or was thinking of renting a house.
$50,000 house?
Excuse me?
You said $3,500 house.
I know. Okay, let me back up. So if you have someone and you're showing them more expensive rental homes, such as they want to go and see rental homes that are $3,500, $4,000, you're going up in Dues West and such, MLP, you may show them this, and they may decide that even if they're going to stay here just 1 year or 2 years, they're not going to throw away that $4,000 a month. Because those people, the higher end people, are smart enough to understand this. Anyway. And I'm not saying other people aren't. I'm just saying that usually they are very detailed. Moving on. That was a big sidetrack. No, I did it to myself. I try to remain on course. So, we're going to be at the home page again, and the pass-up that you got is about answering emails or writing an initial email to your lead and what's good and what's bad. I want to go over that. If you know how to do that, if you've got yours down, you're more than welcome to leave. It won't hurt my feelings. I do not want to waste anyone's time, but that's what I want to talk about. Yeah, okay, so everyone has a handout. I will have this handout as a downloadable PDF beside the video once we're through with the class. And for those of you that don't know, a downloadable PDF means you click the link, it opens a piece of paper, and then you push print if you want, and then you get it as a piece of paper. If that's how you want to do it. Okay, so I got this. Sometimes people that get leads send me or copy me on their introductory emails because they want to know that they're doing right and yada, yada, yada. And this guy, okay, I've narrowed it down, the anonymous down to a guy from girls or guy, but that's all right. This guy is very sharp guy. And he did not mind me sharing this with y'all, my notes on it and what I think would make it better. I'm not saying that you need to email every person, every lead first when you get it. I'm saying that you may decide you want to call them first. You may decide you want to text them first. That's about investigation a little bit. We've talked about that in here before. Again, new people, I will point you to that and tell you a little bit about it, but I'll point you to the video that talks about investigating, trying to find out who these people are. Build a person in your head that you're writing. Build Earl in your head. You know, he's 6 feet tall, wears blue jeans all the time, brown hair, brown eyes. Just have him there and give him attributes so that you can write to him and get what you know about him from his searches, and then also write to him as if you know him. So, he said, the person, this is not the lead's name, but Earl, thanks for visiting at Agent Owned. Okay, I'm stopped right there. If you flipped over and read the back already, then this is going to be pointless. But who can tell me a mistake in that first sentence?
Agent Owned is one word.
That is like my.
I know.
Did I email you back one time?
That was on my website. It came. I don't know how it came through on.
Agent Owned is one word. And when it's written and online, obviously, all the words go together. When they did the logo, however long ago, they did it so that Agent Owned was one word because they thought that looked best. Oh, right. There's a couple people. I'm sorry.
Who doesn't have a sheet?
Okay. In fact, Rex, just take that. Keep them down there. And so we just decided, because of the logo, this was in 1992, that Agent Owned was going to be one word. And technology has progressed, and now it's pretty. Well, for a little while, it was hip to have it be one word. It was like really forward thinking. Now a lot of companies are doing it. It's common, but it's one word with a capital O always. Okay, I am a local agent and would be glad to assist you in your property search. I can help you weed through all properties in the MLS and get to information you are looking for. Comparable homes for sale in your neighborhood or sales in other neighborhoods that interest you, investment properties, foreclosures, and area trends. I also can take your information for what you are looking for and have my system email you as new properties are listed and sold. Please feel free to call me anytime with any questions you have, and or if you would like to be set up and notified of properties that fit your criteria. My phone is always on, and yes, I do return all phone calls and messages. I look forward to hearing from you. The best way to reach me is always on my cell, and he gives his cell number. He did not put the link in the cell phone number. I put a link in the cell phone number when I do it, and it's linked to my email. So if they're going to pick up the phone, they're going to pick up the phone and read the numbers. But if they want to just click on it, it's just going to go to your email.
That's a good idea.
Thank you. Okay, so, and as I read this, I found even more things that I think he should have corrected. Okay. First of all, he didn't, I don't think he needed to really give some thought about emailing them, whether he should email or call first. He should weigh that, and I think he did, but each of you should. Second of all, if the lead has a valid email address, means it does not bounce back if you put test in there or something, then set them up for the automatic listing email system for prospecting in the MLS. Okay? For those of you that don't know what that is, I don't know how to do it, I have a step-by-step guide that I've written for it. I can get that to you and then talk to you a little through it. It takes practice. That is tricky. They have a class on it at MLS, but from my experience, people say that they come out of the class and they still don't know how to do it.
I think they're changing everything in October, so we'll
I
have
know.
to redo everything that we're just talking about. So, I mean, it'll be a way to refresh everything. We have to look at it more like that than just redo it, you know, to make sure everybody's getting what they want, and might be a reason for us to contact everybody.
Also, yes. And it's also a reason for you to go in and get your searches and put them somewhere in Google Docs or something.
Right.
Because if they get wiped out, then you won't know what they were searching. You know, you won't know what to fix them and put them back in the right search.
Right. Yeah, that might be. Yeah, I think that's what Doug Holmes said too. That they're going to get rid of all the searches.
Yes.
So you need to go through each one and like Mount Pleasant, you know, 300 to 400.
Okay. Now this leads me down a different path, but it's an important path, and I bear with me. I was debating about whether telling them it was changing in August. But until August, well, I mean, we're in June. We got June, July, August, September, so we have 4 months. And then supposedly October 1st, the MLS is changing over to a different vendor. And there are going to be many, many, many changes. One of those changes is they're no longer going to do these lists. Luckily for us, Mersal has built into our system that you can do those lists with your leads on Mersal in the back end. Right now, all Mersal does with the emails that it emails out are the active properties. They are getting the fields so that they can put in the pending and the sold properties. And so then you'll just do it for Mersal. But this is what you have to do for right now. Okay? All right, so you do that first. Then you either email them or you call them. And the way you would know, people say, well, I don't even know what houses they're looking for. I don't know what to do. You're just going to have to use your head. And that's just it. If they have looked at things all over the place, it's probably, you can see a trend maybe in price range. Maybe you can see a trend in bedrooms. Maybe you can't see a trend at all. Maybe you can't see any houses at all. If you see no houses at all, make it all Charleston. Okay? That would be probably too many emails. I have to think about that because you don't want them to think, I don't know. That gets into your spy work, and that's another topic. But you set them up for this before you try to make contact with them. And the reason why I want you to do that is that when you do make contact, whether it's email or text, I want you to say, thanks for signing up. I hope you win the iPad, because that would be really cool. And you've been set up so that you get an email anytime a listing that meets what you've been looking for it arrives on the market, or when it's sold, or when it comes pending. So you're not giving them the choice of whether yes or no. Of course they can opt out when it comes, and they can they can tell you to make them quit coming. But I would not make it an option. I would always do that first. Because if you ask them, not only can they say, no, I really don't want that, and they probably really do, they just don't realize it. And two, that opens the door to the top excuse that people use if you're talking to them on the phone, is that either I'm already working with a realtor, or I'm not really looking for a house, we're just looking around on the site. And within 6 months, the person that says they're just looking around will have bought a home. Go ahead. Is that what you were saying?
No.
Go.
I was just thinking, I agree with you.
Okay. I thought you wanted to say something. No? Okay. So, you don't want to open that door, because you don't know if they're truthful or not. And if they say they're working with another real estate person, they may just be lying, because they don't want to have to deal with you. But if you make it so that it's already done, and that's just part of your first conversation, you could even put it before the iPad thing, so you could end the sentence with, and I really hope you win the iPad, because that would be so much fun. Yay! Okay. So that's one thing that I would have him do differently with this. Another thing that I would have, there are so many things that, I think that's, before, go ahead and set them up. Okay, I told you that. I would decide, okay. Now, this is a very rare occasions on the second point. I say very rare. It doesn't happen as often. You will get someone that will be a lead, and they say, I would like to see this home at 2 o'clock today. That person needs to be called right then. Forget everything else I'm telling you, because they just want to see the house. And then you can get them that way. Okay, so we're going back to the normal emails now. If you get no response to the email, you can try calling them the next day if you want. That is you've got to determine your style and what works for you. Some people do not want to be called, and you will get extra brownie points with them by not calling them. And if you've made Earl into this person, you have to think to yourself, now, Earl, would he be buzzed if I called him, or would he not? When you're looking at how many houses they looked at on the line, like in that movie, if they're looking at a lot of houses, that would tell me that they're serious. I mean, they are interested. I would call those people, but that would be the only ones I call. If they've only looked at 3 or 4 or 5, I would not call those people. I might, I just wouldn't call them. But that's me. Okay.
I had a question.
Okay, hold on 1 second, because I'm trying to go down what I told you to do. Sorry, forgotten. Begin with them. Okay. Yes.
Just prospects list. Whenever you're telling us to do that, and I just want to make sure that there's somewhere that they all know and everybody knows how to get the prospect list out of the MLS. Do we have somewhere that you wrote that down that we know how to do that? Because once we put the new leads in there, and they're going to be changing in a couple months, I'd like to be able to immediately get them out of there.
You need to get them out of there now.
Well, I mean, I know that, but I'm just saying for new people, how they when you tell
right,
them.
that is a whole different. Yeah, that.
Is there somewhere they can go to find that out?
I have got a way to tell them how to set that up,
Okay.
I have nothing written on how you need to save them, and I don't think I will
Okay.
because of the time period. And I am very hopeful that we are very close on this Mersal thing. Mersal is our vendor for our website. And
You just didn't
also,
try.
the people that, if I can get them to do this, which they are doing, they're working on right now, because MLS is not going to have searches, okay? So you won't have to do that double work of getting your lead and putting it in the prospect.
So the new MLS isn't going to have search?
No. Okay, but listen, this is the great part. Well, this is the part that excites me. When they add the sold and pending homes into your search criteria, that effectively makes them a vow. And a vow is a very, very, very big deal. And it's very exciting for us and our website. You don't have to know why. I can tell you VOW stands for Virtual Office Website. I can also tell you why it makes me excited is because then, instead of just being able to search for homes for sale, they can also search homes that have sold. So if they want to know what houses sold in their subdivision, they can get that information. And they can get the pending information. They can get all of that. And that's exciting because nobody's doing it yet. Now, come October 1st, I don't know. Other people may be. But they are all probably waiting for October 1st, and I think we've really got to jump on this. And vows are legal because anything that you can hand to a person in an office that you are representing that person or that you have a relationship, I should say, with that person, not that they've signed a buyer's agency contract. You have a relationship with them. You are allowed to present that on the internet. Okay? Does anyone else share my excitement about a vow? Okay, that's all right. One day maybe.
I don't understand it right here. Are you saying that we're not going to have searches with the new MLS? I don't get it. Yeah, I know.
You don't have a quick search anymore? You can go
No, not that. Oh, searches.
You mean that
On
we can't,
prospect searches,
We can't
the
search.
saved searches that you send to your prospect.
we can't automatically do that anymore for our clients?
That is what I understand
So,
to be happening.
why? So,
I don't know why. They're changing vendors. They are changing a lot of things. It is basically almost starting from scratch. They have torn it all. It's like instead of renovating a building, they bulldozed it. Okay? So when this thing comes out October 1st, hold on to your seats and be prepared as you can be to not be dependent on that.
August or October?
October 1st.
What's August first?
I don't know.
Oh,
I might have said
I
that.
think August is when they're like starting the changes, and then everybody has to be switched over by October.
Oh, I didn't know that part. Well, usually with the tech world, they also delay things, but we can go on those dates.
I have a question. If we didn't have this Mersal site and we didn't have this ability to
Yeah.
set up our customers through Mersal, we just wouldn't be able to offer that service and that's
Unless
it?
you found another real estate company that does the same thing, or you call Mersal and you get Mersal to build you a site that has the vow in it, but you have to be able to get there through the search because technically they don't do vows. I know that's hard to understand.
So like the small little independent broker that's using the MLS search to keep in contact just isn't going to have anything anymore.
No, they're going to leave that to that is going to now be put onto agents. Now, I think it may be, the reasoning may be at some point that this vendor is trying to help hook in a CRM, which is a customer relations management, whatever, what is it called? CRM program. Another vendor another charge per month that will go perfectly into and run seamlessly with this that they're doing, and then you would be able to do the searches, but it would just cost you more per month. That is my guess, and that's my only guess.
The real one, it's kind of all about money, it's about money.
Exactly.
Sounds like.
What about people who have websites that the website takes all their homes from MLS? What will happen with that?
Okay,
On the
that is
search.
going to be very interesting. You mean you have a website like Agent Owned? I'm sorry, Dan, didn't mean to ignore you. Dan has walked in. Dan Strecker, the mortgage manager, and we're talking about this topic. But, you know, when we go to search property and find a house, and the house comes up, and, oh, no, okay. I'm not going to pick anything. I'm just going to get to search.
Is this a national thing? Or is
This,
it just-
every MLS is owned differently, and so no. Oh, come on.
Right, so it's going to definitely change your website. How they actually are going to,
Okay.
your website is going to actually.
Oh, well, I actually should have shown you that because that is important. All right, so this is what it pulled out. All right, that's the small, you know, giving you the everything in my range, which was nothing. You know, I didn't give it any criteria. But, okay. Uh-oh. What's at the top of that picture? It's a pennant. Uh-oh.
Somebody's already pinned it?
No. I mean, you pin it if you want to.
Yeah.
But you would need to make a separate board if you were doing a neighborhood. Anyway, that's what I was talking about yesterday.
Right.
Okay, so,
I just thought these might be new requirements from YAR or something that they can't do.
no.
It's not.
It is
So
not.
It's just a local MLS,
Yes.
like people in Kansas City are not doing this.
You're correct. Okay. The MLS, Multiple Listing Service, which is one thing in this note, he uses the acronym MLS. I would explain, in maybe parentheses, Multiple Listing Service beside it, because not everybody knows what MLS stands for. You can't assume that Earl knows that. Every one of the multiple listing services are owned differently, owned by different people. This one is owned by the Realtor Organization of Charleston. Some are privately owned, which is really crazy. But anyway, they have had this one vendor for a long time, Solid Earth. Okay? And they have now decided that this new vendor, can't remember the name, is it Spring or something like that? This new vendor is going to be better than Solid Earth. So that's what's happening. And this is on just a Charleston scale. And so every field, they're going to build this from the ground up, meaning that when your feed comes in, this is fed in automatically from the MLS. All these feeds, all these different things they can pick out, they've got to go in and rebuild them.
Right.
Okay? That's a massive amount of work. And then once they're rebuilt, they have to communicate with the third-party vendors, such as Mersal, that they're going to work with their CSS. It could be bad. It could not. You know, I try to look positive about it.
Are they coming from a different city? I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is like in. I am guessing. I believe it is Auburn. Because I know. I think I know the company. And what they do for that company and make a lot of money is they are a third-party vendor to third-party vendors. They sell systems to multiple listing services for y'all to use. Just like Mersal sells me, an agent owns the platform for us to use.
Right.
and they're switching because they think that's better.
Okay.
And Dan, please stand up and introduce yourself right over here.
What?
Please just introduce yourself. Dan, well, right over there, or you can sit down, either way. And
Oh, the camera.
say a word or two, please.
I don't really have anything today. Good morning, Dan, Inspector of Prosperity. Just came in to see if y'all had any questions. I don't have any electrifying mortgage news or product updates or anything.
All right.
It's kind of hot and heavy in the middle of June. Having a very good month. Appreciate your support. It'll be a nice referral month. That's kind of it.
Well, I'm going to add in the leads that this program is sponsored by Prosperity Home Loans, Mortgage, as well as the insurance company. So, if you are to be on the leads list, part of agreeing to being on the leads list is that every lead that you get, every single one, everyone gets an introduction to a loan officer or an insurance person. Okay, doesn't mean that they have to use them. They can use whoever. They just need to be introduced. And I say every single one. Okay, there are exceptions. You may have some guy, I understand there are some exceptions, so I'm not going to go into that. If they're paying cash and they say, I don't want to be harassed. Okay, but other than that, you must do it. Because they're paying for it. And the only way that they can make money to pay for it is to write loans from it. Now, and then when you've made the introduction, then they do their job, and they communicate with you, and y'all figure it out. And they don't take it out of your hands, or they take as much as you want them to, but they are the money people, and you are the real estate people. So that is a point I try to make all the time.
Appreciate that. The obvious match for you is a loan officer sitting in your office, but it's a relationship, so it's always been acceptable among the group. If for some reason you don't gel with the individual in your office, you can use any of the loan officers. I can help you facilitate an introduction, but the easiest relationship is the one sitting in there with you. So if you have any troubles, let me know.
Yes, and hopefully they would have introduced themselves. But we do have quite a few people that are coming through the doors, and they're talking to people that are bidding houses and stuff like that.
I always wonder what the interest rate was, and what was going on this week. Anything changed?
Well, what's going on this week in terms of rates or?
I got Rex's letter. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, rates are bouncing around all the time. I don't know all of the specific rates right now, since I don't originate. I don't check them on a daily basis, so I apologize and I can get you that information.
Right.
I know FHA rates are in the high 3s, 375, 375.
Really?
VA, USDA, and your conventionals are probably in the 4.25 range. So it obviously depends on credit scores and all those. They're still remain historically low. It's not anticipated that they start climbing up till the end of the year, that they'll start to jump up. But the funny thing is putting into perspective, if you look, and I have this, I should probably get it out there at some point, a 30-year historic chart of rates. We are way below the previous low points. I mean, 6% used to be handstand territory where everybody's like, wow, this is fantastic. We've gotten jaded and spoiled over the last 3 years, being in the 3% range.
Tell them, we have some experienced people here that I want you to just very briefly explain. You may start running into people not wanting to list their home because they've got such a low rate that they don't want to lose their rate. And they have a way that it makes sense for them to sell it and get another home.
Yeah, and I'll talk on a broader point. It's the next hurdle that we'll have to overcome. Is a normal, healthy market requires move-up buyers. Folks that are going to take their existing home, go into a bigger home, and then the new home buyers come in and get those homes. That's kind of a normal situation. We've not been in a situation like this where you figure a vast majority of folks right now are in the 3s. And so for them to move up, not only do they have to absorb the extra $100,000 in price point, but an extra maybe percent and a half in rate whenever they decide to do that. So it's an interesting dilemma in finding that a way to get them out of that. The market will we'll come up with creative ways. Obviously, ARMs, adjustable rate mortgages, are going to come back and be acceptable to folks where they can get a lower rate for a shorter fixed period.
I guess I was thinking about the 15.
No, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. I'm with you. A couple things to keep in mind that you may or may not know. The average homeowner stays in their home less than 10 years. The average homeowner stays in their mortgage less than 7 years. So when they're applying for a mortgage and they're hearing about adjustable rate products where rates aren't fixed for a full 30 years, their immediate reaction is, uh-oh, I don't want to do this. This is awful. I can't even consider it because it was taboo before. But they're usually not in it long enough for that adjustable rate to hit anyway. What Lisa is talking about is specifically for the clients that are over $417,000 in a price point, which we call jumbo mortgages and jumbo properties. It's about a $500,000 property and above. On our 1515 product, which appeals to those clients, it is a 30-year amortized payment. So it is, the monthly payment will be the same as a 30-year mortgage, but it's fixed for 15 years, and right now it's 3.75. So that takes that client that's in the threes and allows them to stay in 3% range on their next property. A normal jumbo 30-year fixed is in the fours. So this gives them that payment as if they're getting a 30-year fixed and a 15-year fixed period. At the end of 15 years, it would adjust for another 15 years to finish out. So a little bit of risk in there that at the end of 15 years, their payment could go up.
Right.
Technically, it could go up a full 6%.
But that's if they stay in the house that long.
That's
If
right.
the house that long or if they're in the mortgage that long. A lot of people will end up getting a refinance, cash out, pay off some cards, something along those lines, and or move out of the house. So it's a viable way. So I don't think anyone, has openly come across this where a client's saying, I don't want to list my home because I can't get this equivalent rate. These might be folks behind the scenes that aren't speaking out about this concern that you might have, or you may hear about it from a client eventually. So it's something to keep in mind. This is on that higher end product.
I definitely think that is in the 250s listing ranges, which is a lot of y'all's farm areas, and I think maybe lower than that, but the ones that are, for them to make that jump up and jump into the jumbo category, usually a jumbo rate is more than a regular rate.
Yeah.
So this also solves that problem. And two, you might be able to get them to list a house, sell them, and get it done. That's the one.
Yeah, and it's attractive, putting on your listings. If you're listing a home over $500,000, it's attractive to have that in there. So.
Yeah. And if you can say all that and talk to them about it, then they'll think you really know what you're talking about.
Yeah. We have flyers and things like that.
Yes, they do have flyers. Thank you, Dan.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Lisa?
So, yes, ma'am.
I have two questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just can't get this through my head.
Uh-huh.
So with our MLS changed in October, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get, before then, we're going to get all our searches out of there. We're going to save all the information so we know what we've got. Just say that the Marisol site's not set up with H&M at that time.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have no way to recreate those searches for these clients until the H&M site is.
That's true. Okay, the best way I could answer that, there's two things. One, regardless if they were changing October 1st or not, best practice as a real estate agent is to have repetition. So you should have that stored in a Google Doc somewhere all the time anyway, because you never know what's going to happen. So the MLS scenario could happen. We've talked about that. If the Marisol thing, we fall out with them and then we don't have it on here, or you leave here, okay, because you have it all in a Google Doc, it's all yours. Don't put it on the agent-owned realty at Gmail. Put it on a regular Gmail. Does anyone know what I'm talking about?
On the drive, on Google Drive.
Yes, but instead of using Rebecca.Bates at agentownedrealty.com, okay, that is very, well, first of all, it's really long,
Mhm.
but whatever. But it sounds professional, okay, and you want to sound professional. When you use that, it is hosted by Google, or yes, it's hosted by Google, but it's an app that allows us as a company to have those email names with the agent-owned realty in it. And so they are treated as a group. And at any time, they can decide to make the group so expensive that it's not viable, or they could just we wake up one day and they don't do groups anymore, they're all gone. What you do, just go to, if you haven't already, just go straight to google.com and Gmail, and say, right underneath it, it'll say, set up new account. Set up a new account. Now, obviously, if I was trying to hold you hostage at agent-owned, I wouldn't be telling you this, but that's not my goal.
Is there any reason I couldn't use Access? I can use Access now.
Sure. Yeah. You can use anything you want, but redundancy is what you're looking for. All right. So if you use Access, I would use this in addition to that. Okay, because that, you know. Okay. So I'm going to go to. I'm going to log out of me. Try to log out. Sign out. Okay. So this is what you get when you sign and you do google.com and do Gmail, and you might have to type in there gmail.com. Add an account. Okay, this is the screen you're going to get to unless you've had a lot of different people using your computer and it's saving it for us now. All right, you want to make a new one. You can make as many Gmails as you want, okay? So instead of putting rebecca.dante@agentownrealty.com, go here and create an account, okay? So then you go through all the steps and you give it a name. Let's see, the name is... it's going to be at gmail.com. Mine, personally, is valerolisa@gmail.com. Okay, there's a lot of reasons to do this. One, it is the best practice in real estate because you are not held hostage by anyone, by any third-party company or your real estate agency. I know y'all are all going to be agent-owned forever, so that's not a problem. You know, sometimes we have our staff, but not very often. But this is just the right thing to do, to tell you this, okay? Get a separate Gmail from the agent-owned realty one. They behave slightly differently than the agent-owned realty ones. They do things slightly differently, a little bit better than the agent-owned realty ones. Stokes would kill me for saying this. All right, so, but he knows this is the way I feel, and I've said it in front of him. I'm not talking behind his back. Set it up and have all of your email funnel into that new Gmail account. Every email account you have, funnel it into there. And people fight me on this all the time. They say they have a personal one and they've got a business one and they don't want to mix it. I'm telling you, don't have to follow my advice, but I am a gambling person, and I would wager that 3 months later you're going to come to me and you're going to say, why do I have 2 Twitter accounts? Why do I have 3 LinkedIn accounts? What do I do? It's a mess. This is horrible. It's because you didn't funnel it all to one address. Now, when you go to send out email, you don't want it to go valerolisa@gmail.com. You want it to say rebecca.bontes@agentownrealty.com. You can set in the settings for that account to do that. It will set it out that way. There's a minor problem with that, a little bit of a problem with that, I hate to say. Because everybody will have you in their address books at that email address. And if it goes away because you left Agent Owned, then nobody will be able to get in touch with you. Agent Owned does not cut you off and will let you get everything out, but still you've got people in address books. Yeah.
I just tried to do what you said. It keeps kicking me back over in my Agent Owned account.
I have to do.
Was it you that we were doing? No. Somebody was having trouble with their calendar. Donna, and Donna, was having trouble. Adriana was having trouble having everything linked. And so we set her up at one account to funnel everything. Okay? Rachel, you can just read the rest of what I said. You always are welcome to me. I really don't want to go through this whole thing right now.
We'll do it later.
It probably is because it's on an iPad. And you need, if you are going to use Gmail on the iPad, I use it in my regular mail, but if you're going to establish another account, which is a little bit different, I would go in with using an app from Gmail to set up that new account. And then you can go back to the other way.
iPads don't have Outlook, do they?
Hopefully not. Okay.
I got all my emails in Outlook.
Hold on. I'm going to say goodbye to people here. Okay, thanks for watching. I know we got way off track, and I'm going to split this up into different things so that you can watch different topics, because we covered a lot of stuff and very little of the letter. But that's okay. We can try the letter next week. Okay. And for those of you that are new that don't know, this is always live